Hey there, I'm Brad Talton, founder of Level 99 Games and the designer of BattleCON. BattleCon is a head-to-head fighting card game for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 15 to 30 minutes, and has 18 different characters that you can use. I'm going to teach you how to play the game, and I'll give you a quick overview of the components that are contained here in the box. So the game box comes with everything that you can see here, plus a little bit more. Inside the box there are 18 different character sets, 4 sets of these bases, 2 additional sets of bases for bosses and for a 3v1 boss. The game board, which has 2 sides, one for 1 versus 1 and for multiplayer duels. A large selection of tokens and stand-ups that are required for all the different characters. And a rule book, which contains also a comic that teaches you how to play through the rules. There are 3 kinds of cards in BattleCON. The first is character cards. The character card has a character's unique ability, their name, and their finish move. On the reverse, it has a little bit of strategy tips for you when you're using the character. Styles are the left sides of cards. They have a range, power, and priority modifier, as well as some rules text. The back of a style card is always red. And base cards are your foundational tactics. The base card has a base range, power, priority, some effects in the box, and on the reverse is blue. An attack pair is always formed by 1 style and 1 base, and you'll be able to tell a legal attack pair because it has 1 back of each color. When you take a style and a base together, they form an attack. The attack has the combined range, power, priority, and effects of both sides of the cards. In this case, my advancing strike will have a range of 1, 0 plus 1, a power of 5, 1 plus 4, and a priority of 4, 1 plus 3. It has a starter beat effect, which lets me advance, and it has stun guard 5, which will prevent me from being stunned as long as I take 5 damage or less during the turn. So, to talk about the stats on the card, range determines how far away that I can hit my opponent. Range 1 is directly adjacent. So in this case, this would be range 1. Range 2, 3, 4, and so on as we step farther away. Power is how much damage I'll do if the attack hits. If this attack hits, it will do 5 damage to my opponent. Priority is who will attack first in the turn. The higher priority player will attack first, and then the lower priority player, if he is not stunned, will be able to attack. Stun guard helps you resist stun, and is explained a little later on. Any style can be played with any base. In this case, my advancing shot would have priority 1 through 4, a power of 4, and a priority of 3, while my sweeping shot might have a priority 1 through 4, power of 2, but a priority of 5. A range of 1 to 4, a power of 2, priority of 5. So some attacks also have minimum ranges. In this case, a burst has a minimum range of 2 to 3. And this means that if my opponent is at range 1, the attack will miss. Only if the opponent is at range 2 or greater will the attack hit. 2 or 3. Only if the opponent is at range 2 or 3 will the attack hit. So, some attacks also, dash most notably, have a range of NA, or power of NA. An attack with a range of NA will always miss your opponent. An attack with a power of NA will never do damage. So, the last thing to note is that all effects on all cards are mandatory and have to be activated when they trigger. In this case, with a dash, after activating, move 1, 2, or 3 spaces. You must move 1, 2, or 3 spaces. You cannot choose to remain still. So to begin, each player takes all the cards that are relevant to their character, and you can tell because they all have your character's picture on them, and 1 set of the standard bases: dash, burst, strike, drive, shot, and grasp. The initial game begins with 2 piles of cards already discarded. So we take the card with the number 1, down here, and the number 2, that's this one, and the bases with the number 1, and the number 2. These form our initial starting discard piles. Both players have 2 discard piles that are of cards that are not available to them, but they will become available very shortly. So the rest of the cards are in our hands. Any tokens that are relevant to our characters, that is, those are granted by our unique abilities, sit on our cards, and now we're ready to play. So, to perform a beat, a player selects one attack pair, that is, one style, one base from his hand, puts these face down, and announces that he's ready. The opponent will also select an attack pair. So let's go ahead and take this one. Alright. Then, with both players announced that they're ready, we move on to the reveal. Before we reveal, there will be a short ante-step. We'll skip that for now, and I'll explain it in a few moments. But for now, we just go to reveal. So we both reveal our attacks and announce priority. My priority is 1 plus 4 for a total of 5, and Cadenza, the robot's priority, is 1. So, Hikaru, my character, will be the active player for this round. The active player gets to do his effects first. The first thing that happens is our start of beat triggers. Now, every effect in the game has a trigger and an effect. So, start of beat effects are ones that say start of beat, and then some effect. This one says advance 1 space. So I advance 1 space. Then, if my opponent had any start of beat effects, he would execute his. In this case, he doesn't. So it goes to the active player's turn. In a turn, there are 4 phases: before activating, on hit, on damage, and after activating. Before activating, I advance 1 or 2 spaces. So, because my range is 1, I need to move it directly adjacent to Cadenza. So I'll advance 2. Then, I check to see if I'm in range. My range is 1, so I've scored a hit. If I had any effects that were on hit, they would occur right now. In this case, I don't, so I move on to damage. My total power is 4, so I do 4 damage to Cadenza. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I had any on-damage effects, those would trigger right now. Then, if I had any after-activating effects, I would activate those. Now, on Cadenza's cards here, he has 2 specific abilities, Soak 1 and Stun Guard 2. Soak 1 means that he takes 1 less damage from attacks that I do. So in this case, he would have actually taken only 3 of the 4 damage. Stun Guard, allows a player to resist being stunned. In this case, Cadenza has taken 3 damage. He has a Stun Guard of 2. My damage overcomes his Stun Guard and causes him to become stunned. So he will not be able to counterattack in the reactive turn. So the active player's turn finishes. The reactive player, if he's not stunned, gets a turn. In this case, he is, so he will not get a turn. Then we go to end of beat. Neither of us has any end of beat effects, but they always work, even if you're stunned. Afterwards, we recycle. To recycle, you pick up the outside cards from your discard, put them into your hand. The inside pairs slide over, and the pair that we played this turn slides in. So, as you can see, everything has a 2-turn cooldown period before it returns to our hand. I can't continue spamming my advancing drive over and over again because I have to wait for it to come back. So let's go on to the second beat and I'll teach you how Stun Guard works. So my opponent and I have already readied our next attacks, and we'll go ahead and show you how ante works. In this case, I will ante a token. To ante a token, I play it down and I say, I'm going to use this token. In this case, wind, plus 2 priority, so my attack will be even faster this turn. My opponent, Cadenza, decides not to ante a token. The tokens that you can and can't ante depend on what your unique ability is. So take care, make sure that you read your ability and your opponent's ability before the battle begins, so that you know what you're capable of. Now we both reveal. So we go straight to the active player's attack. My range, I do not have any before activating effects, so I check my range, which is 1. Cadenza's at range 1, so I score a hit. On hit, I can move the opponent 1 space, so I'll go ahead and throw him back here. Alright, and then I have another on hit that lets me recover an elemental token of my choice. Hikaru cannot recover the same turn that he uses a token, so I don't have any tokens to recover, and this ability is lost. Now Cadenza this turn has a Stun Guard of 6. So unless I hit him for 7 damage, which I didn't, then he's not going to be stunned and is going to be able to attack. So he's going to go ahead and perform his attack now in the reactive player turn. So his range is 1 to 2, so he hits both of these spaces, which I am within. So when I become hit and I take 3 damage on hit, this attack has +1 power for each point of damage that he's taken during this beat. So when I hit him, he took 2 damage. Now he's going to hit me back for 3 plus 2, 5 damage total. So I slide down here. Then, as usual, we cycle around and are on to the next beat. So, the game continues like this, playing beat by beat until 15 beats pass or until either player's life is reduced down to 0. At that point, the remaining player is the winner. Now, there's one additional variant that is useful after you play your first few games of BattleCON, and at that point you'll want to introduce special actions. The special action card looks just like a style, and it plays together as an attack pair, face down. However, all players have the same special action card. So, the special action has 3 functions, and the function that it activates depends on which base that it's paired with. If you pair it with a dash or a burst, then you create a pulse. A pulse negates your opponent's attack, and also lets you push the opponent back as far as you want. In this case, Cadenza could use a pulse to push me back, or if we were in this situation, he could push me back and push himself back to set up a more favorable position. If you pair a special action with a grasp or a shot, you create a cancel. After the cancel has been revealed, you can pick up your attack and then set down a new one, having looked at your opponent's attack. This gives you a lot of control and lets you pick the exact perfect move for a situation. When you pair a special action with a strike, with a drive, or with your character's unique base, you create a finish. The finish can only be used when your life is 7 or lower, and is listed here on your character card. This is a unique move that replaces the entire attack pair. In this case, Ikaru's finish gives him high priority power and a close range, but it also lets him use all of his token abilities to buff it up. So after you use any of these three types of abilities, the special action card leaves the game and cannot be used again. You only have one of these for the entire game, so make sure you make good use of it. Thanks for watching the video about how to play BattleCON, and you can learn more about the game at our website, www.battleconnection.com. If you want to get a copy of the game, you can visit our store, www.lvl99games.com/store. And if you order us from online directly from us, you also get 3 bonus characters, Danny, Robert, and Klaus. So, thanks for checking out the video, and hope that you enjoy BattleCON. Happy gaming!